One thing this state is proving, when it sets on it being unfair, it's very tenacious at staying with the program of being unfair. They won't admit a mistake. They just won't do it. Justice be damned. It's got nothing to do with what goes on here.
You talked about what seems to be a vendetta against Mumia. And you look back, you know, he was working as lieutenant of information for the Philadelphia Black Panthers. And then when he was a little older as a journalist, he was presenting Move's side to the public, you know, when the police were doing all this unjustified and racist repression against Move, miscarrying babies through beatings and mistreatment. So these cases are tied together a lot. Just a couple weeks ago, there's the Move 9 women prisoners, and there's 8 remaining Move 9 prisoners. There's 3 women, and they were just denied parole, essentially on grounds that they would not admit their guilt and show remorse. What do you think about that?
I think it's one of the worst things in the United States, where people who are innocent being forced to, in order to be considered for parole. It happens in many states. Many parole boards look at it this way: that if you don't admit your crime and say you have remorse, you don't get parole. Even if you've been sitting in there like they have for 30 years, being good prisoners, by the way, with excellent prison records, saying we're innocent. I mean, after all, you look at this case, in many, many ways, this case reeks more than the case they had against Mumia Abu-Jamal. Here they convicted nine people of killing one police officer named James Ramp, who was in a stakeout. By the way, Ramp was in his 50, 55, 58 years old. He's in a stakeout across the street. Here they are, all of them in the basement. You know, thousands of gallons of water being pumped into the basement by the Philadelphia Fire Department. They're being literally flushed out of here. They're holding their children above their heads. Hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of bullets are being shot into the basement as well, into the house. How they could say, you know, like 9 people are guilty of shooting one police officer, only one bullet hit him. One bullet gets Officer Ramp, and yet they put the 9 on trial, and this is not a jury trial. This is Judge Melman is the decider, and he told them at the end of the trial that they wanted to be considered a family. He's tried them as a family. He's convicting them as a family. He didn't know which one of them did it. He said, I don't know who did it, but you're a family. He gave them all 30 to 100 years in penitentiary. Well, that 30 years is now up. Kind of hard to believe, but that 30 years is now gone. They should all be out. Unless they've been hell on wheels in the penitentiary, caused nothing but trouble, were involved in stabbings, did drugs and all that stuff. Maybe not. But their record in the penitentiary, as far as I know, and believe me, if they didn't have bad records, I think we'd know about it, has been good. That they've been a very positive force in the prisons they're in. But one of the Move 9 died. One of the women, I think her name is Merle. Am I right about that? Merle? Yes. Merle Africa, she died. So that leaves 8 of them. And then the men will come up.
They're being interviewed any week now.
The men will come up this summer. And I imagine, I'm afraid they'll face the same ridiculous kind of situation. So, one thing this state is proving, when it sets on it being unfair, it's very tenacious at staying with the program of being unfair. They won't admit a mistake. They just won't do it. Justice be damned. It's got nothing to do with what goes on here.